Hi, it's Sue from Westwood Recreation with another Boredom Buster. We're in the kitchen and today we are making ice cream lasagna, one of my kids' favorites. First thing, gotta wash those hands. 20 seconds. And we're ready to begin. Ice cream lasagna is the easiest and simple recipe, and once done, very delicious. The ingredients you need will be ice cream sandwiches and your favorite toppings. So I've chosen for today hot fudge and caramel butterscotch. You'll need a dairy whipped topping from your freezer and your favorite candies. Now they can be a candy bar which you mash up, or they can be individual candy pieces. And we are going to put this recipe together just like you might do a lasagna. First layer of our ice cream lasagna will be the ice cream sandwiches. The size pan you use is entirely up to you. You just layer the bottom of the pan with the ice cream bars. Now you can see there's a little hole there, or a couple little holes. So what I usually do, will take a cutting board and a butter knife, and I am going to fill in the gaps on the layer. So I kind of size up what's missing and cut it and place it in, kind of like a little puzzle. And then I look and I say, oh, there's a little bit more there that I could fill in, lengthwise. So I'm going to take and cut this piece in half, and I'm going to fill it in as best I can. Here we go. All right, so we have our first layer. The next layer that I use is hot fudge. And it's like painting. You just warm the hot fudge, but don't make it hot. And you pour it, and as much or as little as you like. And you pour it right over the ice cream sandwiches. And then you take with your spatula or whatever tool you have, and you paint it over your ice cream sandwiches and cover them as if you were frosting a cake. Okay? The next layer you have is your whipped dairy product. You're going to take and spoon that. It's already defrosted as your next layer. With that, you're going to spread it again like you're icing a cake. Just push it all around. You can make as thick a layer or as thin a layer as you like. Just make sure you get it all around to all sides so that when it comes to cutting this lovely lasagna, every piece has a little bit of the goodness. The next is the candy. I like chocolate crunch, and I crunched it up, and you sprinkle this over. And this, you want to try to do the same thing, is make sure that you're getting all the spots. You're hitting the middle, the sides, and the corners, because we know when we get a piece of this, we want to have every bit of goodness there is there. So there's our first layer. The next, or I should say our first, yeah, I guess it's a layer. The next one, we repeat with the ice cream bars. And depending upon the size of the dish you use, the larger the dish, the more ice cream sandwiches you'll need. This is a great recipe that I got from a neighborhood gathering many, many years ago. And the beauty of it is, you can make a small dish or a large dish. Either way, it works out nicely. And the nice thing about this recipe is that everybody can help in making it. There's lots of steps to it, from layering the ice cream sandwiches, to painting on the hot fudge, to spreading the Cool Whip topping, to sprinkling the chocolate bits. Now, when you get towards the end here, you want to fill in any holes. This is my next. I'm going to start with and push those pieces in there. And I use every bit of ice cream sandwich with one to spare. There you have it. So we did the hot fudge before. Now we're going to do the caramel butterscotch. And again, you just pour it over and paint it on so that every corner, and you can put as much or as little as you want. I have in my dishes here about, I don't know, 4 to 6 ounces of the toppings. And you can use whatever toppings you like. So you paint that on. And the next thing is your whipped topping. Getting close to the completion of this lovely, lovely recipe. And I might use just a little bit more here. So I want to make sure I have a nice thick layer on the top. So just a little bit more. There we go. And we're going to paint that on. Fill it right in, just like you were frosting a cake. Now, the last thing are your candy bits, whatever you choose. You know, I've never varied on the type of candy from one layer to the next. I've always used the same. But I suppose that you could do that, like you could use chocolate bits on one layer and caramel bits on the next layer. I've always used the same. I have varied up the types of ice cream sandwiches. You can use your cookies and cream ice cream sandwiches. I love the mint chocolate chip ice cream sandwiches. My family's not as fond of that as I, so I don't make it that often when I'm making it for the family, but I do love it with mint chocolate chip. The final layer here in our ice cream lasagna is the chocolate candies, or whatever type of candies. I mean, if you're a fan of nuts, put on nuts. And there you have it, your ice cream lasagna. The hard thing about this recipe is that you have to put it in the freezer. The dairy product kind of congeals and makes it nice and firm so that when you cut it, it truly is like a piece of lasagna. Everything kind of stays together. The other thing I will do is I'll put some wax paper just over the top to protect it while it's in the freezer. So let's take a look and see how things turned out from earlier. We're going to go ahead, hang right there for a moment, and I'm going to pull out the ice cream lasagna that I made earlier. In with the new and out with the frozen product. It's all frozen and congealed together. The best tools to cut this with is a sharp knife or a lasagna. I use this to cut my lasagna. And you push down deeply in and you cut it just like a lasagna. The only thing that I would say about this is it's very rich, so you want to do small pieces. To start, you can always have seconds if you finish your small piece. So let's see what it looks like when it comes out. All right. we have it. Our ice cream lasagna. So good, so delicious, and you can make it with a variety of different toppings and ice cream sandwiches and candies. Okay. I'll post this recipe on the website, but before we go, I'd like for you to think ahead. Next week, I'm going to do a craft. So what I would like you to do for the next week is with your recyclables, check and see if you have a can or a plastic container that is going out. I've put one aside right now for myself. Think about the size. We're going to make these into a pencil holder where we're working from home and everybody probably has their workstation. There are certain things that you need to have, possibly crayons, markers, scissors, pencil, pen, and we're going to have a decorative workstation pencil holder. Each one in your family can have their own one. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.